Welcome to the Link Building Show, Episode 8. In this link building show, we're going to talk about different methods of link building. And I've got Andrew here, our head of PR, who is a real expert in building PR links. And we'll have an interesting discussion, just like a friendly discussion about links, and just talking about different link building methods and which ones are good, which ones are needed, and which ones are not needed. So Andrew, welcome to the show. This is your first appearance in this show, right?
Thanks, very glad to be here.
Awesome. So let's talk about links. Obviously, this is our biggest offering at the company. We link building, and we also do different types of link building. Of course, the PR link building is our biggest service, but we also do like some other types of link building as well for some of our clients. So tell me, what types of link building methods are you aware of?
So obviously, PR link building, like you say, that's our core focus. But I'm vaguely aware of some others, and I'd love to get your insights on how they work and how effective they are. I've heard of things like niche edits, blogger outreach, forum link building, those kind of things. But yeah, I'm not fully sure. As a kind of pure PR person, I'm not quite sure how those elements work in the world of SEO.
Let's start with like blogger outreach. Of course, that is by far the most widespread link building method, followed by the niche edits. That's another quick win link building method. And then there's like the other methods of like forum link building and then replicating competitors' backlinks, and of course using like Ahrefs and so on. So blogger outreach, of course, many people say blogger outreach is not black hat, but even though we do this for some of the clients, because in some industries it's really needed, I say blogger outreach is, especially when you pay for the link or for the article placement, it is a black hat link building method. Nobody should say otherwise. So blogger outreach is when you get in touch with the bloggers and say, hey, whatever the blogger name is, we would like to collaborate with you and we'd like to place an article on your website. How much will it cost? And then they usually charge between 30 to like even £500, depending on their popularity, for like an article placed on their blog. And I would suggest for anyone doing blogger outreach to always write the article themselves if you really want quality, because sometimes these bloggers have their own kind of freelance copywriters who they just slap a random article there. So blogger outreach, if you want to keep the quality and minimize, of course, the risk, there's always going to be a risk of like a Google penalty. But to minimize the risk, keep it high quality and keep it really, really like relevant. Make the link, the link should make sense throughout the article. So that's blogger outreach. Reach out to bloggers, ask for a link and pay them for the link, right? Niche edits are when it's the little sister of the blogger outreach, where you, instead of say, oh, we're going to place a new article on your blog, then you say, can you just edit a previous blog post and just add a link to our client? And that's like way cheaper. It's usually like 20 to like, 50 to like at most probably £100 for a niche edit. And then they just place a link in an existing article. And I've seen many examples. It really works. This method also works. It really amplifies the rankings of the page if you do it consistently, but also it comes with like a big risk because this is becoming spammy now. Everyone is doing it and there's lower and lower quality. So what do you think of these two methods?
I think they're interesting because they obviously share a lot of similarities with PR link building, but what switches them over to the dark side, to the black hat, is that kind of payment element. So is there a version of blogger outreach effectively that you can do without paying, where you're just targeting bloggers with content that you think will interest them?
Well, there is actually. So there are some very, very high-end blogs that accept guest posts. Very good example is csstricks.com. It is probably the leading source of like CSS tricks in the world, and they accept high quality, really insightful articles. In this example, or even SEMrush, like SEMrush does accept guest posts, but then you have to come up with like industry expert content, and then you can insert a link if it makes sense, or even in the bio. Now that is kind of completely white hat. The problem is that's really limited, and it's really, you cannot just build like 20 links in a month on like 20 different websites, because there's a limited amount of high quality websites that allow guest blogging, right? But yes, to answer the question, there are limits on what you can achieve just with this method. That's why there's like some other big budgets being spent on paid blogger outreach, because it's scalable, it's predictable. You've got the list of blogs, just churn out the links and it just works.
With it's called Black Hat because you're not supposed to pay for links.
Yeah,
you'll get penalized by Google if found out. How is Google able to find out if you've actually been paying for links?
Well, there is a clear pattern, and especially like the low quality blog outreach is like the link just makes no sense throughout the article. It provides no value to the article. The article provides no value to the users of the website. It's clear that it's like especially when it's done like you have 100 links with the same anchor text to the website, the same like rubbish low quality articles, and the blog has got like, oh, get in touch if you want to collaborate with us, and it's a clear pattern, and Google will eventually penalize some. The penalties have dropped since like 2017, but they are still there, and people still get penalized for just having low quality blogger outreach links. So they have a manual team who's assessing this. They probably have some automated way of detecting the patterns, and then somebody manually will check them, and they will just, in Search Console, you will have a message and an email saying like, your website has received a manual penalty for unnatural links. And then what you have to do is, you have to go and either ask all the bloggers to add a nofollow tag to the links, or ask the bloggers to remove the links, and then submit a reconsideration request. And then if Google thinks that you've done enough work to take down the links, or no follow them, then they will kind of lift the penalty and your website can start ranking again. It's a really interesting thing.
Effectively, if you're conducting high quality black hat blogger outreach, you're unlikely to get penalized by Google. It's not going to be able to spot.
It's not. Yeah, it's less likely. It's less. There are methods where you can do the blogger outreach as if it was like almost like a PR piece. So you could do it as like, oh, the experts from whatever company came up with this research, or they surveyed 2,000 people and they have found these insights. Now, that's really hard it's really hard to distinguish from an actual PR piece, like an actual journalistic piece, because it makes sense. It's like a case study. And even if like a Google employee would look at it, say like, oh, maybe they just picked it up from their emails. Maybe it's just a copy-paste press release that they picked up from somewhere, and it's not like a spammy link building or like blogger outreach link building. So that's a way to kind of trick Google's employees.
Okay. And how does forum link building work?
Forum link building is, we've done this at scale, and we've actually got lots of traffic, lots of organic traffic just with forum link building quite a few years ago. And what you do is you create a list of the best forums in the world on different topics, and then you just go and post a really high quality, either open up a thread or post a good comment that makes sense, where you can link back to the client. So say if you have a tax calculator website, you can go on Android forums, for example, right? It's a very popular forum, and say, hey, I'm a software developer, I would like to build a income tax calculator mobile app for Android, and I'm looking for the best technologies, and the calculator will have to have all of these features as shown in this example. And then as this example, you can post your tax calculator website as a link to say, oh, this is kind of what I want to build. Can somebody give me some tips on like what should I use, like the Ionic framework to build the app or whatever. Thank you very much for upfront for the help, and looking forward to hearing your ideas. You got a link on a high quality forum with a good question that maybe some others have also got. And if a moderator would look at it, it would say, oh, this is like a genuine question. This is not promoting the income tax. They just refer to it as an example of what they want to build. So that's high quality forum link building.
And does the engagement with that forum post impact the quality of the link?
It will, like, there's no kind of proof of it, but it will probably be, and Google will probably look at like all the replies to the thread. It will probably look at the popularity of that thread, and it will probably take into consideration lots of other factors that's going to affect the actual power of the link.
So, for example, that doesn't work with social media. So Google does not have any links on social media.
Yeah, probably like there's no black and white here, but probably social media posts will be disregarded. Maybe Reddit, I don't know, maybe Reddit is okay, but it's still like not 100% certain. Actually, we could do an experiment on this. Hopefully I'll make a note, and I'll run an experiment. I'll post it on LinkedIn to see what happens. Just build some Reddit links to a website that's got no link building previous and see where the rankings go. Good, that's a good one. But probably it will not have any effect.
And how many times are you going to have to do that? How many forums are you going to have to do to have an impact?
So when we've done the forum link building, we had a target of posting on 10 forums per day. Out of 10 forums, about 3 to 5 links got like permanent placement. Because sometimes like not all of your posts are going to be approved. And so you need like a list of 2,000 forums, start from the top, and have a goal to do 10 forum posts per day. You got to be very creative. You got to post really high quality stuff. But then you could build 3 to 5 forum links per day, and then you will have a massive traction. We actually had done it on multiple websites, and they all just went up after 1 or 2 months. So it really works if you do it the right way and if you do it persistently.
That just has to be a manual process.
Yeah, if you want to automate it, you will fail 100%. You cannot automate creativity. Like we had, like, let's say even on a dog forum, you could post about like income tax. Say, I have 10 little puppies and I will sell them. What's the tax implications if I sell the puppies? Do I have to pay tax? I tried to look up on other websites such as like Income Tax or like Money Saving the Expert, and you can link to them. But I could not find any answer. Is there any kind of thoughts? Did anyone else have this? So you cannot really automate this process, right? You have to look at the forum, what's their main topic, what people are talking about, and then post another thing around that topic.
So the common theme throughout this, actually, whether it's PR, whether it's blogger outreach, whether it's forums, is relevancy.
Relevancy, exactly. Tell me about PR links a little bit, because you are probably the best person to ask. Like, what do you think of the PR links? How powerful are they? How can we get relevancy with PR links?
Yeah, so I think PR link building has been shown over recent years to be extremely powerful because, you know, of all the things that you mentioned before, like it is white hat, it's clear, you're getting links when you do the job properly from some of the biggest sites in the world, and that can only be good in the eyes of the algorithm. So yeah, absolutely, PR link building is a hugely effective way, but it's also the way out of all those ones mentioned, it's one where you have less control, and there needs to be probably more expertise and more time spent making sure that you're taking the right approach, because you're dealing with a world where there's not only, you know, hundreds of other digital PR agencies out there sending stuff to journalists, but there's also traditional PR agencies sending that stuff out to them. Journalists are getting bombarded with content every single day, and you need to be able to create stuff that is not only relevant to your client, but of interest to the journalist as well. So you're fighting a relevancy battle, but you're also fighting an interest battle as well. And that's, you know, that is a demanding thing to do. But then therefore it makes sense that the rewards are greater for this. If you can get this right, this challenging thing, you do get the benefits from it in terms of, you know, the impact on performance. So PR link building is both great fun and extremely tough. It's not to say it's complicated. It can be quite simple to come up with a simple idea, as we've seen from so many of your LinkedIn posts, your breakdowns of the approach that we take. It's not some kind of, you know,
voodoo magic,
hidden magical formula. It's like, look at the media, look at what they're interested in, look at what stories generate engagement, generate responses, and find a way that you can link that back to your client. So that's and obviously that is challenging, but it's not kind of complicated to work it out.
And what I've seen, the most successful websites are kind of doing a combination of different link building methods. I think combining PR links as a principal link building method with blogger outreach, where you have more control, but like quality blogger outreach, and then replicating competitors' link profile by going on Ahrefs and looking at their best references and reach out to those websites and just find a way to get placements there as well. Like combining all of these techniques together is probably the ultimate kind of link building formula and link building activity that one could do for their brand and for their websites. I would not recommend completely leaving out blogger outreach, even though it is black hat. I think it's still a very powerful, it's the main link building method of the web now. That's the main link building method. Digital PR, the more quality links you have, like press links you have, the least of a warning you're going to generate in Google's algorithms in terms of like spammy links, right? So I think combining all of these link building methods is kind of the ultimate activity that you can do for SEO. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Andrew. It was great to chat, and hopefully anyone watching this can have a glimpse of like what different methods of link building are. Maybe most of the audience already knows all of these. It's always good to have a chat about, even for myself, to just reiterate what it is, right? Because now I want to go and I just want to build links. That's how good this conversation was. So thank you very much, Andrew.
I want to go and do some blogger outreach now.
Yes, exactly, right? It's good. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Have a lovely day, Andrew. See you on Slack, right? See you soon, everyone, and hopefully this will inspire.